It's time for some FACEIT League. We've got Supershy taking on 0907 here today. And I'm also getting Spec is joining me. Not exactly sure when, but Spec is joining me at some point. Somewhere here before we get into the game. You might have noticed here, looking at our schedule, before we get into talking about today's match. We had Arius taking on Gibble Morai scheduled for this slot, right? That match got pushed like way back. So it's Lars's birthday, as you can see at the bottom. Happy birthday to Lars. But I believe had a family thing going, had a family engagement or something. So in the meantime, we're going to get this banger on. We're going to get 0907 taking on Supershy. Both of these teams coming in with 3 wins apiece. Supershy have only played 6 games and 0907 have played 7. So 0907 are 3-4 with Supershy at 3-3. But I'm more really looking at the win column here. I think this is a bit of a turning point, a bit of a tipping point. We're getting into what is really kind of the back half of the season for Master. So I know we're getting into week 6, but Master didn't start till 2 weeks later, and they're playing extra games. And so they're actually not even quite halfway through. I want to say they have 15 games total in Master. Trying to stay above, a 500 record is becoming more and more important. And so kind of we're at that tipping point here, right in the middle with both of these squads, right at kind of the halfway mark in the season, and both of them sitting, at 500, if not just below. 0907 with a struggle bus of a start. We did see some tank swaps here recently. I think there was even concern that they weren't even going to field a roster after initial matches in the beginning of the season. Are here to play. Even after losing Jodowicz before the season even started. Brought in Arsona to play tank from playing from an A and playing on ping. That there was some struggles there. Arsona has since is no longer with the squad. But playing tank now, I believe, permanently here for 0907. Supershy, kind of a similar story, but not, I don't think, as extreme. This squad have been playing together from, since the beginning of the year, at the very least, and then had to swap tanks, obviously, with the age restrictions. And so, just had to learn to play with a new tank. And, at the beginning of the season, I think that was a little bit of a struggle for them. Opened up 1-3, right? Opened up 1-3. But, turn around and take wins. And take a couple dubs and are able to even up here. Now, obviously, you do still have a couple of extremely tough opponents down the line. I'm thinking, Arius, Gibble, Vision are all down the line. Yes, you are, Lars. Yes, you are. Happy birthday, my friend. It'd be really good. Really good Supershy fans. Put up a couple wins here in this middle section. If you could take 2, if not 3 of the next 4, I think you'd be in a good place heading into the final stretch of the season. 0907. I love this new look. Really kind of highlights the players more, just to have their icons up here in big at the top of the screen. It's like, these are your 5 starters. We have had Soaks come in and join this squad as well. Honestly, similar start, raw start for 0907, trying to get over this, the hump and some of the roster issues that they face right out of the gate. But with that said, they also went through the 3 toughest opponents. 3 of the 4. Reds obviously should be included in that. But 3 of the 4. So yeah, rough start, roster issues, but you get 3 of your 4 toughest opponents out of the way right out of the gate. Now, it doesn't feel good starting with an 0-4 record. 1-4 because they got the forfeit win. But it doesn't feel good starting with the 1-4 record. But they have managed to turn it around since. At least start putting some dubs on the board. This is important. Finding a bit of a rhythm, finding a little bit of confidence. Extremely important here for 0907. It's one of the reasons this one stuck out to me. Also, Conde versus Libby. Just straight up, Conde versus Libby. It'll be fun to watch. These 2 hit scans could very easily and have previously taken over lobbies. Spectrion, what's up, my friend?
It's pretty good. I've got to go to work right after this, so I'm not looking forward to that. But,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Brickban.
Yeah, Brickban from Supershy.
Oh, Supershy. They're playing into 0907. They're playing against Soaks.
Yeah, Soaks joining the squad.
Yes.
The newest member here. Obviously, we had the tank change with Arsona's no longer here. But,
yes.
yeah, Soaks joining, I think, is super new, right?
It's not like super new, but it is still relatively fresh. There was a whole like roster mania with supports semi recently in EMEA, so it's all a bit up in the air right now.
They ran Brago's a diva ban from 0907. Give me thoughts on that while I give you clean feet. Namely, entertain stream while I do tech things.
Obviously, Arshavin is currently in, if I'm not much mistaken, for Supershy.
Indeed.
So this seems like relatively target ban. Booga's diva is not fantastic. Obviously, he's been on a team with players like Gas for so long who have a really strong diva, so to me he's had to practice a lot. He's still a good flexible player, right? But generally he's going to be defaulting towards like an Orisa in these kind of matchups. And so I think the diva ban is just to get rid of one of the more annoying matchups for it. Especially if you're playing on something like an Oasis City Center when there's a bunch of verticality. Orisa just finds that really annoying to deal with. So that's my kind of gut feeling as to why we got that in. It's so much fun when you just can mess around in the chat a little bit with the players. You know, like, I feel like that's probably some of the most enjoyment I get, especially if you get some of like more entertaining players, the ones who like to kind of chat their shit, you know, like,
yeah.
If you get like a Crocs game or something, then you know you're going to be in for some entertainment, even if the actual game is like a 3-0.
It's fun. She shows up in my chat. What's up, bud? Am I tripping? I thought you were gonna have Gibble versus Arius. That match has been pushed back by 3 hours. I believe Lars had a dinner or something. It's his birthday. I believe he had a family thing going. Something like that. So they had to push the match back a little bit. In the meantime, enjoy this banger. Supershy kicking off with 0907. Both teams coming in with 3 wins. 0907 looking to get back to 500 and kind of get over that 4-game losing streak right out of the gate.
Oh, good catch. Libby just can't do anything. Libby is one of the people who's not playing a crazy amount of Freya right now. Kaz is actually pretty good right now. So I don't think it's a terrible weakness, but he will find himself getting caught out probably more than his counterpart.
Well, I've kind of highlighted the Libby versus Conde matchup here, and that becomes even more interesting if Conde is going to opt in for the Freya most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been super impressive when he has had his hands on this hero. Obviously, while we can see Booga on the for the Hazard now, then it makes way more sense why he's banned out the Diva. I mean, has the Diva in the 1v1 just so rough for the Haz, so Booga just allowed a lot of freedom now. He has access to these high grounds.
Oh, Soaks got hit by a spear. Was a literal one, man. It's just skirt away off the coastal side. Good spear into Booga's. Kind of get bullied around over that wall, but does make it back into safety. Gets topped up there by Docky. Conde's going to return here with the bolo shot. Lands the direct. Arshvin's taken out of the fight immediately.
Really nice.
Bolo shot lands. Ooh, and a ton of damage. Bren won't survive through that. Libby's been able to kind of trade back, but it's not going to be enough in the end. Oh, Raisu gets one on the way out. Raisu, you beast.
He's got to live. He's got to live. Otherwise, he's going to have a generational stagger, but he's allowed to escape. So, Supershy actually allowed a really fast refight here. They'll have numbers advantage for a bit. So, they're looking to use this Kitsune rush probably to get an engage going.
Let's check in on that. You know, Docky needs to build up towards theirs. You see a little bit of a slow approach. Booga just kind of slow walking around the low ground, not attacking either high ground as I would have expected from a Hazard. Just kind of sneak up a little bit and is slow trading, waiting for that rush. They're just finally online. Pulls lands into the back, will not find a target. Booga down as the cell barrier is invested here from Soak. Still thinks this is winnable. Whoops, I went to a bad pop.
I don't know, Raisu was kind of just public enemy number 1 there. They spent everything trying to kill him, but his positioning is good enough that he just lives the pulse and has engaged both. So they waste all their resources, find 0 damage, and just lose off the back of that. That was really weird.
Well, here comes another attempt at it. Let's see if they are super focused on Raisu once again. There's the jab spin to block the downpour. Clever. Huge hair surge. That was enormous. Just yanked in like 3 or 4 players with that one. Great follow-up, and you've got Supershy in control and going to take the lead off the back of that team fight.
Orisa combo's well in control. It's so annoying to try and shift, especially now you've got basically no really strong ults, right? What are you supposed to do? Just kind of pray Conde double bolt somebody, hope Booga finds like a slash one-shot? It feels pretty terrible, right? And so I think Supershy in pole position now to take City Center.
Cypher and Soak's trying to play towards cars. They can find entrance here. Might be able to open something up. Oh, but Rice is just on fire this opening sub-map. Just clocks Docky right out of the gate. 90% towards a rush. They dropped him in simultaneously, y'all. Now has a 40% advantage and the perfect tool to close out this sub-map.
Percent left to go. A touch is what you're going to be thinking about if you are on 907. That they'll at least be able to find, but how good will it be?
There's Zypher will blink in and make it happen. Still a couple percentage away from that pulse. Rice is surprisingly holding on through that rush. I figured they might go on that advantage, but the high ground getting taken away by Boogas, chasing Libby down, caused a lot of distraction. Now the rush is finally thrown in from Raisu. Trying to claw back through a 4v5. Ooh, Zypher just stood still. Gave him a bit of the mental check. Connie's going to swing this back. Finds Arshvin with that. We got a 3v3 on this point, maybe a 2v3 right now. Bread very low, trying to duel it out. Connie with no health. Zypher comes in to bail him out. J9 gets the revenge. Looking like a 2v2 left on this point.
Really weird there from Supershy. Decided to sit back, play their angles, but doesn't really work with having that Casino Rush as your main tool. So a lot of space able to be taken. Obviously, Condi's bottle shot connects, and a super windy day for Racer, bro. I've been there. I get it, but it's never great when it's caught on stream.
Deadeye available. Check where Zypher's setting that pet. Pushing it through cars. Okay, just gonna jump right back in and regroup the hazard in the middle. Looking like Supershy have control of this far left side. We're gonna get Cyber engaged, but Buka doesn't get it. Still, they managed to find Arshvin. Oh, and that could just be disastrous. Big pulse bomb in the middle and a flawless, very clean fight here. 0907 will flip this thing. They're going to take round one.
Super close, but honestly, 0907 does look like maybe the stronger team right now, and I'm not just saying that because they've won that, right? It feels like the fights they're taking seem a bit more like a cohesive. They're kind of not really relying on their individuals by the looks of things. That I like the way they're approaching the game right now, because previously, when I would watch an 0907 game, then it would be Booga hard looks Orisa, does like 20k per 10, and they lose because, you know, Orisa's a strong character, but it can be hard to do ridiculous things on the horse. He's going to do that now, so we'll see how it's going to work out. Remember, the Cass versus the Freya is going to be the main differential. Cass is more consistent. Freya has these higher peaks and lower troughs.
But it's so much harder to get on top of as well. The Freya is far more survivable.
There's that as well. I mean, the Cass in like a short 1v1, because you've got the roll, more HP, is pretty nice. Bread is eye safe from the background. That's such a good jagged wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Violent Link comes back online just in time. But Bread manages to just fend off all sides. That was incredible. There's the power of the Orisa. That is just the indomitable horse.
I mean, it's a really good start there for a 907. The wall is perfect from Booga. But Bread just like launches Booga into the ether twice. They're basically playing, you know, 4v5 the entirety of this high ground battle. Speaking of 4v5, Libby just evaporated.
What a mismatch. Great read out of 0907. They just pounce onto Libby. Now can they kill the indomitable horse? Moving ahead, Brett's going to drop both of their cooldowns. Booga's trying to clog one. Oh, might have just jumped into a 1v3. Suzu is used from Docky to bail them out of there. Docky has to swift step out with 4 health. Actually, double swift step to safety. Looked a little bit of a scramble there for a moment. But they're able to stay on 2 feet. Conde responds with a pair of kills. 0907 will grab control. Rice are taking their toll, though, man, every time.
Grace has been firing on all cylinders, at least, you know, when we're not on his POV. Listen, on 907, we're in a pretty great spot, right? We're coming up to ults. Generally, our ults are a little bit better than our opposition. Terra Surge, I think, is a little bit weaker than the Downpour, because Downpour basically forces support reutility out. You have to beat or cleanse it. If you don't, you're just kind of, your day's ruined. So Booga could find a lot of value with that particular tool.
Libby's going to open up with the space. And I like the timing on this. Unfortunately, the Consumer Rush from both sides kind of getting devalued a little bit. The Downpour, though, only catches Libby. Brett in a bit of trouble. Great jump down. Good sound barrier. And once again, we see 0907 taking the initiative in these fights. And they're setting the pace, and it pays off in this one.
Yeah, I mean, huge there that Soaks has the lead on the sound barrier. That's the main difference maker in that fight. And what makes it more interesting is that, in theory, Arshavin should be charging it a little bit faster. Orisa is going to take a bit more damage, require a bit more healing. Then the as well as the Freya should be dealing a bit more damage. But Soaks is able to hit the Cheerios enough, I guess, though, that it is the difference maker in that battle.
We'll be able to combat roll through that one. J9 dashing up, trying to put a little pressure on this side. You can't just let Conduct free fire from up here all day long. That is a sure recipe for disaster.
Jay
just gets destroyed. Bread already past the armor mark. Sound barrier has to come into the 4v5. Ooh. Was that a bullet shot on Arshvin? Is that what I just saw? That was so fast. Arshvin does get hit but escapes. That is a solo terrorist to try to isolate Booga, but they had the violent leap to escape. Now Bread trying to push forward, using the fortify to see if they can just inch everybody off the point, and they do. 0907 have to relinquish control. Bread's still low, but here comes a Kitsune Rush in response. Booga heads up top. Low on health, running away from the Kitsune Rush? Question mark. Rysu responds with their own. Booga returns into the fight, very low on health, saying, "Get down, my squishes." Looks like it might have worked. Kade and Zypher able to respond. This prolonged fight, eventually going the way of 0907. Fortunately for Supershy, they were building percentage through that. Do they have enough time for a touch here?
I mean, they would in theory if they hadn't kept fighting, trying to sort out some extra percentage, because all well and good that you get an extra, 10%, but you need your Tracer alive to try and get that touch. It's close, it's so close, but overtime will be started. And
that's J9 dropping down into the pit. Has to use the recall just to get out of there. Bread does not have the cooldowns. Arshavin caught in that. Goes down. Huge downpour. Sound barrier advantage. All going in favor of 0907. They'll clean up. Take map 1.
Yeah, they will. And something that I maybe should have mentioned before this game started is there's a certain element of personal stakes in this game between J9 and Booga, right? They were on Gas Tier 3 together. Booga is very fond of talking about basically how much better he is than J9. And so Jay's definitely feeling like he's got something to prove. Booga's got his pride in it as well. And so I think every time that we see this kind of almost mishmash on 907 roster find success, then we know exactly whose head it's going to, and maybe even tilting Jay a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit. James is an interesting character when it comes to mental.
Well, Supershy get pit going in. What? Okay. I was about to start throwing out speculations. We don't have time for that shit. It's Dorado.
Fair enough. Guess we're gonna go up. Dorado is such a good map.
Such a good map.
I won't stand for any Dorado hate. Speaking,
I'm right there with you.
In terms of map changes, by the way. Why are we reworking Survasa, guys? Please. That map is like, it's fine. It's
have faith. Have faith. I will say, I think all of their reworks have been really good.
That is true. I can't think of any rework since like Horizon where I thought the map was like not at least playable when they were finished with it. And I think everyone has just been like a straight up upgrade. So,
and I mean, even like I think Circuit's probably the most minimal impact, but even those small changes were really good changes, right?
That is true. That is true.
So that's what I'm thinking with Servos. I'm hoping it's just gonna be really tiny things, and we go, oh, actually, that is really good. Like I'm thinking, Palace, like maybe access up to the high ground in Palace. I don't know. I don't know. New Junk City, I'm way more excited to see. Like I think Ducks and a couple points there really do need. Some
it
attention.
Does feel a bit.
Yeah,
it's pretty unwieldy, I think is the best word for it. I think my
Ducks
personal pet peeve is on First Point, which is Arena. It just plays so differently to the rest of the map that people will like start on like Ram Malga, and then you can swap to whatever you want after. But it's like impossible to play like Bull, Winston, Diva there. It's super rough. By the way, Hazard Ban makes a lot of sense for Supershy to start off on. You're not going to play crazy amounts of it if you're Bread. Booga was playing it. It's going to be his premier dive tank. Ana Ban on the other side of things, not really a target ban. It's just that generally hurt the array of, Diva Winston comps that people can play here.
Yep. I mean, that's clearly what Supershy was leaning into, so. I mean, it seems pretty apparent to me. I'm not as familiar with Bread's Hero Pro. I think we've seen Bread play a little bit more other than, like, we've seen Bread play a little Hazard and things outside of that. Obviously not playing that here with that banned out, but.
Red's a player I'm actually not crazy familiar with.
I wasn't
probably my first time seeing him in any division here in FACEIT Masters, and it's been impressing me decently so far, actually. I think in terms of who I kind of know the most on the Supershy team, it'd be like J9, Libby, Reisu. But I think they're showing that they are very much the complete unit, and there is a reason they are, you know, on that kind of 500 mark in FACEIT Masters.
Well, looking to improve on it here. Let's get into map 2.
This comp defensively, by the way, is so... It's so Booga. It's so 0907. Look at this. We've got the hard poke core with the Brig Bap getting so much shooting damage in. Booga himself won't receive a crazy amount of healing when he's on the high grounds. Trying to hit the Bap nades is kind of awkward, but your raw damage is insane. So you're probably going to play for Booga just to stall a point as long as he can, whilst just waiting for his teammates to magic pick somebody.
Brett is going to go into the Winston comp. We do see Libby up for the Freya here. Makes sense. The verticality is so strong on her.
Yeah. That and like having a pick potential is a lot more important than consistent damage when you're playing a map like Dorado, where you don't get very long peaks very often.
Right. You gotta make the most of what time you have to get a kill.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. Up to the high ground where Reisu is very aggressively positioned. Had a wicked map 1. We didn't really have time to look at stats, did we? We'll catch up on that. There you go. Raisu's accuracy continues to impress, but that's that high ground damage you were talking about. Doki's still able to land some headshots into Libby through this. Now dueling it out with Reisu. Forces out the swift step. Good hold, good shooting out of Doki.
Yeah. And obviously, we see Booga getting his mech back here, so you can, you know, rather he just respawns, but he'll be able to score the point again on this archway. It's not so bad. Oh, playing with death is Ashen. He'll be able to dodge it for now.
Well, he was looping up with some pressure, but here comes the move into the back line. Now trying to cut off the stairs. This might have actually been a great move. A little bit of a hesitation from 0907. Okay, they're just going to flip the map. Drop in behind. Reisu has to bow self-Suzu and swift step out, but the card is getting progress this whole time. Now the attackers are able to hold this strong position behind the fountain. J9's got a pulse. There goes the leap in from Bread. We're going to get the immortality out before the pulse bomb comes into effect, but Bread gets melted. What happened there?
There's so much damage available for the 0907 comp. 3.5 meters before the cart rolls in. Won't hear. But, you know, with 2 minutes on the bank, this has already been functional push. You're coming up to some of your really big tools. This Kitsune Rush, the bow shot you can use just to try and magic pick something, but into the Diva, into the Brig, right? Your chance of success relatively low. So still a pretty decent position for Supershy, but they're still just really struggling with the shooting phase. That's a really strong part of what they have to play into.
We're trying to get a better angle, see if they can help with this poke duel. That's the rush in from Reisu. Oop, that's not Reisu. There's some Reisu. Bullet shot thrown into this as well, but rally up both from the defense. And self-destruct going to get Booga back in mech. So they're still 5 strong. Then we get the second phase of this fight. The Primal Rage almost had somebody cornered. Now there's a small room. That might just do it. The rally is faded. Booga out of mech. It's taken down by J9. Couple of healers forced back in the back right side, and then turn around, focus out Conde. Cypher and Soaks have made this interesting. It's a 3v2 favoring this defense right now. Bread's gonna get pulsed. That's the hold.
That's insane. I thought that was over for sure when we see the Bread getting the juggler in the corner. I mean, obviously there's very little chance he actually kills the Brig, but he's taking both supports out the equation. The Brig being juggled, the Bat having to full pocket. But Cypher just kills everybody. I can't analyze more than that, man. He just killed 5, basically, on that Tracer. Stupendous work, and now coming down to one final attempt. Orbital Ray at least here for Supershy, but nothing else besides.
Also, shout out Soaks for picking up a kill through that exchange as well. Not only able to keep them alive, but gets a trade, or, you know, finds a pick. To put that third one into the column, gives them the 3v2. Now dive in with less than 30 seconds remaining. Orbital's thrown onto the point, but it's really just the judo there. Here comes Libby in to try to get some value on the back of this. J9's pulse gets gobbled up. Woo! You find Docky through an amp matrix. That was actually a nice shot. And Supershy are still hanging on by a thread. Booga, speaking of a thread, that last little sliver of health gets evaporated, but so does Libby. It's just J9 on this point in a 1v3. 3 seconds left. They have not gotten the touch on the OT yet. There it is. We will get the yellow bar. Brett has returned. There's no ultimates for Supershy to work with. They're going to have to do this against a rally with nothing of their own. Brett just gets destroyed. Kande's going to go up in the air, drop the bolo shot in the back line, try to focus out the Sombra, lands the direct. This cart's not going anywhere. It's a full hold from Team 0907.
That's actually nuts, because it feels like there's so many times where Supershy are in a good position. You know, we had 2-3 attempts almost where it's like, they're gonna cap. Surely they get their time back extension. But no, on 907, they just hit more shots. They are playing towards their cons, you know, well enough. Booga's just plays the front line, does damage. It's basically like a meat shield for the rest of his team, so they have this space. And the rest of his team, with that space, are consistently just clutching out situations in times that it feels like they probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, we see that kind of Cypher, well, I think it was a 4-piece.
Yeah,
this time,
at least 3.
Yeah, the fight is close. We come in with the Ray. We don't really find the value we need, and people just stay alive long enough for the respawns to come through. So I'm super impressed by what Onono 7 are showing us here.
Yeah, it was the Ray, like, that could have done it. I mean, still the strongest ult of the game, but it felt either, I don't know if it was just too early or if it was a miscommunication on who they were diving on, but it felt like once the Ray was popped, it was literally just Arshavin there.
I mean, some of the reason I don't really like Juno with Winston is because Winston kind of struggles to take effective use of the Ray. The area you have to stand is so small that a lot of the time it's really easy to kite your Tesla cannon range, right? It's a couple other desyncs as well, but it just ends up being that it's pretty awkward. Whereas if you're Booga and you've got a Juno, as we'll see now, I mean, whilst the fusion cannons are so relatively short range, it's much easier to mess around with your spacing a little bit more and find some value from it.
Well, the D.Va can kind of play at short range a little bit better. The Winston needs to be moving around to different positions to find value, and that's just the antithesis of the orbital.
Obviously, going to be a base and mirror on this comp. Yeah. The only difference is going to be the BAP versus the Juno. Juno helps with the frontline trade a bit more. BAP just deals more DPS. The window, in theory, should come online first. If it doesn't, then that's going to be a huge win for the side playing the Juno.
Runasapi has an enormous lead on it at the moment, so far so good in that regard. Booga, no 907, we're able to take top courtyard, now fighting through the stair side. They still have Cypher on the point, trying to anchor and push through main. Good shots from Libby, though. Catch soaks on that left-hand side of your screen. Beautifully done, and that is a big cornerstone of this attack, just cut down.
I mean, there's nothing you can do with no Brig. Your backline is incredibly weak. You'll just lose any sort of brawl fight, so great pick there from Libby, but the fact you're at one fight already, basically, with almost 3 minutes on the bank, doesn't feel great. So if you're an 7, you feel very comfortable about your chances. 80% to the Ray, slow fight into dumping that ultimate is probably going to be Booga's first protocol.
And on 907 have been so good at dictating the pace of these engagements this whole series. I mean, it's been a map and a half. Nice little pickup from Brett. Able to find Soaks early in this fight again, and you can just see the focus fires all pointed at Soaks.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he's been identified as some level of weakness, and being exploited pretty effectively. The good news is that both of these fights have taken no ults for either side. In fact, so we're coming to this next battle, 10 ultimate abilities. This is going to be chaotic, man.
There's the speed ring. That's going to be the orbital started off. Ant Matrix into the back. They've already dealt with the immortality. Everything is just gone. The dust settles. I mean, you still end up with 5 players alive for a 907. A couple ults in the pocket to send this home. We need a miracle from Supershy.
I tried to get the pulse as well from Cypher. It doesn't matter. Jay probably will be able to get overtime started, but other than that, what are you able to find? Not a lot, as Arshavin Magic picks on the walk up. Nothing can go the way of Supershy.
Yeah, Conde just continues to pop heads. Libby's not going to make it into the fight. There's one take aim that's going to find Raisu, force him out. Self-destruct, final, last-ditch effort from Bread. They get rally stud, not allowed to get back in mech. No chance. 907 will move to match point. What a dominant showing here on Dorado.
That was the pick of Supershy as well. That was kind of crazy. And they're typing now. Like I said, was probably going to happen, but wasn't sure how exactly it would work out. But no, that was crazy. I mean, like, I know I said it multiple times. I know I'm almost wasting my breath at this point. But it felt like Supershy should have found a lot more success than they did. Their defense, they looked a little bit boomed. They give up a lot of space. And then they walk into a 10-0 fight when they're playing BAP comp, their opponent's playing Juno comp. Like, Window's nice to have. But the advantage of Window is that it charges fast. You can dump it out often. With Ray, if you don't have a Ray to answer, you either kite it or you lose, right? And they end up taking the latter option.
They didn't have the space to give. I mean, they were stuck between a Ray and a hard place, if you would.
I mean, I guess no speed as well, so they can't even disengage easily.
Yeah, you couldn't even like back up and then wait until the last second for the Ray to fade and then re-engage real quick, kind of slingshot it. No, that wasn't even an option. Like you said, no speed. That's so true. Good call. So it's Runasapi for map 3. Supershy try to get a point on the board here. Tracer baited out. I actually got to look at some stats this time. Let's go look at the scoreboard. I actually got to start on map 1 because I neglected to give y'all some stats from map 1. We'll just briefly take a gander here. Actually, I'm going to see. Is it time for your Preds yet? Not quite. It looked a lot closer at game than these stats look for on Oasis in particular.
Yeah, like I definitely see what you mean.
Yeah. Like Oasis felt like both maps were. I mean, the first round was 199. Second round wasn't too far off. It was like 180 or something like that, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
They felt very close. The stats do not look close. Conde dominated. 23 and 4. Most damage in the lobby there on Oasis. 16 and 1 on Dorado.
Dude, I rate Libby, but he's having a really rough series of things so far. 7 and 9 map 1, 7 and 7 map 2. You need more from your hit scan in a meta that's so hit scan dominant. It's as simple as that, unfortunately. Just not really able to get his play off the ground, and I think that's a big part of the reason why Supershy is struggling.
I mean, I gotta hand it to Conde, though. I mean, Conde is beating out the damage on the tanks. Beat the tanks out for damage, excuse me, in both maps. Is leading the server in damage. Oh, across the board.
He's got the Freya hero, like, he's got the Freya hero.
Yeah, but even, I mean, yeah. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's like 50-50. Conde is playing fantastically. It's also that, like, Freya's been nerfed, like, twice now, and she's still... Lord have mercy, she's still strong. Yeah. Something I think is really interesting here actually is the Tracer ban for Supershy. Tracer is Jay's hero. It's the hero he identifies with, it's the hero he plays the most. His other picks, like his Genji, as far are good, but they're not his Tracer. And so the fact he's giving up on that one really shows a lack of confidence, I think, that we are seeing Supershy having themselves right now.
Let me get the Orisa band in from 0907. Let me get that plugged in for you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Guys, I got good spawn.
Yeah.
At least there's still having a good time here.
Fun.
Yeah, just having fun, exactly.
Oh, the BAP on this map is kind of awkward to play. See how well Docker can survive. Zypher, obviously, on the Sombra, is largely to counter out. Libby on the Freya gives you better ultimates as well, but J9's neutral is going to be so much stronger.
Immediately going to force Cypher out of that middle, and Libby just destroys Booga. So a good start for Supershy, bouncing back after a disastrous Dorado. They came into Runasapi a bit angry, you know, good to see.
Finally, some life here. Come on, where's Lynn Rice catching strays? Good lord. It's like all Gas Day 3 is on a team together once and they're all just connected by a hive mind forevermore, I swear to God. And they're threatening for forward spawns already. Booga can catch them on the corner beforehand, but unless you perma-hack Fred, then I feel like the same thing's going to happen again to Booga.
Playing back here, trying to hold this corner, making it very difficult for Booga to leap in. It was a very good wall. Booga caught on the wrong side. J9 was low, but is still able to find the kill and avoid the shots coming in from Conde simultaneously. Now, a couple of good directs land there, but it's not enough for a kill. Docky does manage to trade one, but we are going to get close spawns here. I mean, 95 seconds into Runasapi.
Booga just keeps getting walled in and just evaporated. Look how much Libby is saving his like cycles. He's saving his dashes so he can just instantly just eviscerate Booga's HP anytime he peeks. And that's like the game plan apparently. They just want to make sure that Mr. McKenzie simply isn't allowed to play.
So far, it's working. It's been 2 minutes of Supershy in control. Another great wall. Booga has to use a leap sideways. You know, very suboptimal. And Matrix completely devalued Bolo's shot. And wait a minute. This did not go how... Yeah. That was well played. I saw the vision there out of Supershy. All right, we got Kitsune rush in. We Bolo shot behind the Ant Matrix. We got and then they're just all dead.
I think like Ashvin was marking right side with J9, just like dies, and then from there they'll kind of begin to snowball out. It's not ideal, but it's how things go eventually. And Daniel Lucio, in my opinion, you should probably just like give up, but they decided to commit to the fight, trying to bowler shot the window, which is nice in theory, but you're down 4v5. It just doesn't work out in practice. So we spend 2 ults, don't find a crazy amount of it, and now the gap begins to close.
Sunbury is not ready before the EMP hits. Still, we're going to try to swing this. Oh, God, no. J9 just gets through it all. Holy cow, what a blade. You know about J9 banning out their preferred hero. That was a 3v5 clutch and a half.
Yeah, it's actually nuts. And they not get knocked down after the EMP. And most people go, whatever they spent EMP, would go next. Supershy just set the gas up to 11, right? They blade downpour beat, but it does work out. Yes, now they are skinned. Yes, they don't have a crazy amount to deal with this downpour, but that's a problem for them, you know, now rather than them in the past. I really like that play.
Yeah, that was definitely a tomorrow problem. And the downpour is not the most threatening ult by itself. Can be, but can also be avoidable. We'll see if it gets anything done. Oh, Raisu did not save the cooldowns for it. Does get caught. Conde is able to pick up 2 through it all, including Libby, taking a lot of the punching power out of this comp. Boogo cleans up with the block. There we go. TS1 marching the other way.
You've got, you know, 1 ult fight v no ult fight. It's just how things go. Decent chance making it competitive. But at the end of the day, if you don't take care of Condi there, then it's just not going to work out. The Frey able to survive on like 30 points of HP. So you can threaten for forward spawns here. The touch is kind of awkward for Bread as he begins to scale up. You maybe want to slow play for Kitsu if you've got time. If not, though, I don't know. You might have to just hard send him to Booga once again.
I mean, it's a good wall. All guns are pointed at the hazard right now. Booga, half health below the armor mark, and Libby gets the shot. There you go. The response is in, but the Suzu was perfect there on Verizon, but they lose Arshavin through the fight. Docky responding from the backline. Docky backing away. Oh, and Soaks kind of gets left alone here in the middle of the street. Well, eventually it picked up, and there's the cleanup.
If I had a button on my keyboard that traded my Lucio for their hazard in a fight, I would press that literally every time. It's just so worthwhile. So Arshavin, yes, sells his life for the cause, but it's so easy for Supershy once they have that tank advantage to just get momentum back on their side. They were able to increase their lead by probably, you know, 5-10 meters, and heading into this next fight as well. As long as they don't lose the EMP, then they have advantage. Arshavin doesn't have the sound barrier. That's the only weakness here. They can't just hide their Lucio and beat off their ultimate.
EMP is going to 5-3, and Arshavin is the one focus right out of the gate. But once this time, it's Brenna goes down, but we do see trades start coming through. Not enough. After the take is focused, there's the cleanup. Ricey will take their pound of flesh, but that is not it.
Happens. You have no beat, so it's kind of hard to play against the EMP. You need a humongous cleanse that doesn't come through. Such is life. That's the really big tool of them gone. You have significant ult advantage now. Should just be Supershy taking the lead again.
That was Booga caught a very bad spot. Huge Bolo shot. Rally is in from So. Stocky survives on a sliver of health. The Matrix is still in play, but they have no tank now. Can they even? Also, they can't!
Oh.
Conde is going to take the second tank out of the fight, and Zypher is going to fight Arshavin, who was holding beat. What a turnaround in that fight from 0907 in a very close Runasapi here. Less than 4 minutes remaining.
Really, just a huge mistake there from Bread. You've got tank advantage. There's no reason to try and chase those kills more. Should just waited out the rally, gone a little bit later, but just gets way too big for his boots, pushes into a small room with a rally bash and evaporated. Just humongous individual misplay there.
Kanye's gonna throw in a ball shot in the left-hand window. Oh, and Arshin's not gonna get the beat into this fight either. That's just gonna be the checkpoint, potentially the lead.
He takes care of the Sombra though. Zypher, 90% to the EMP. It's almost a worthwhile trade.
Yeah, fair enough.
Help up, Reds. He's so low. Oh, he's taking so many points of healing, but he ends up surviving. I mean, if the has died at any point there, I'd feel like that fight was turnable, but instead, no, it's been so back and forth here on Runasapi, but Supershy able to just keep on, you know, maintaining that lead. It's not as comfortable as they'd really like, but at the end of the day, you know, a lead is a lead.
And Supershy putting a shoe in my mouth in that one, but it's not the first time that we've seen these fights swung. All right, Cypher sitting in behind. Arshvin will not get the EMP into this fight either. Great Suzu. Okay, stay corrected. Arshvin does land it. Emmanuel Hack is a touch late to save it. Raisu with a beautiful shot. Gets Cypher off of their back. Swinging this forward. Brent's gotta be careful. Running it into an damage on the other side. Actually leaps away. Booga, after swapping to a Diva, now threatening Ko's side, where Libby's trying to set up on this flank. Both DPS over there, they all converge onto Soaks. Get the bring out of the fight early. Downpour comes in to catch Booga. That will be a D-Mech. J9. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Immediately jumps out of there. Finds Zypher. Systematic fight there from Supershy.
That was super, super nice. J9 able to find most of the cleanup there, but it was all in the early fight where that was actually one out. Obviously, the cleanse comes through onto Arshin to allow them to sound barrier. Raisu as well, the headshot onto Zypher, so the Kiriko really does everything there. The rest of it, it's just semantics. Zypher as well down early. J9, a huge 1v1 to win.
Oh, but Kanye responds, takes the blade out. Suzu used 2v2 in the corner. Good peel. Booga will get D-Mac trying to fight Raisu. Raisu's able to swift step out, but lands in a pile of disaster. Rallying Soaks now turns their attention on the bread, and they go cartwheeling into the wall.
I mean, it's been back and forth for a little while now, and it appears to still be so. I was almost gonna, you know, launch into a tangent about how we were finally threatening the spawn, but no, Zypher and Soaks enough to clutch things up once again. Only a self-destructs in this fight. 50 seconds left to go. If I'm Supershy, I'm thinking about banking ults, you know, winding up for one final haymaker to put an end to this map, bring them 1 and 2 at least in this series.
37 seconds. You've got 2 fights here at the very least. That is a very deep push in from Booga. Booga's going hunting on to Libby. Meanwhile, J9 has pulled out a blade, and they've been able to double down with this Kitsune rush down Main Street. So, Supershy invest early here, but they do hold on to sound barrier for this final fight, and they're running away with the cart. Good rotation. 0907 looking to match.
And he just hard set in the backline. Booga's in bloody Narnia. He can't peel worth a damn. Final fight, EMP almost online. See if the cleanse is good enough again.
Raisu versus Zypher. Zypher just setting up in Main Street. No wide flank just yet. There it is. Zypher with the move inside. Through the clothing store. 1% away. Comes out the EMP. Libby at 1 health. Zumber's in. Libby survives. Libby survives. That is not good for 0907. Great play out of Supershy. They're going to continue to control the pace of this. They still have that Libby ult to work with, but there have been no kills through this delicate fight. Good swift step, or excuse me, the Zypher's able to get out. Suzu used right on the bot. J9's able to find Soaks, and Libby gets the bolo shot into this fight first.
Totally.
And that just does it right there.
I have no idea how Libby manages to kite both any shooting and the sound barrier, because if anything goes differently, he's just a dead man. But nah, able to just keep on kicking long enough. The EMP could have been everything, but just not positioned at all in the right place. There have been some really great ones from Zypher in that map, but I feel that the 2 most important ones are where he just gets totally cancelled out, right? So, I mean, that was crazy. The Tracer band come up huge there for Supershy. They able to draw blood here.
We've got a match. We've got a match.
We've got a match.
No 3 Overwatch in this one. And 0907, I believe, get first pick of the day.
They do, yeah. No idea what their game plan is going to be here. Maybe you could go like King's Row Ban as something like that.
Oh, they do go hybrid. They go Hollywood and ban Genji.
Okay, that's interesting.
Hey, after that map,
one map is J9 Genji, and they're like, absolutely not. Get us out of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say after that map J9 just had. Can you blame him?
Yeah, fair enough.
Diva ban here from Supershy.
Exactly what I would have went towards.
What's that?
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense.
Yeah.
It's not what I would personally have first thought, but I think it also makes sense.
Sure.
I think both teams don't want to play different enough stuff on the backline that you can just like easy target ban supports, and with tank bans as well. I think most tanks nowadays, unless there's a very specific idea of what you want to play, you can make do with some pretty simple subs, right? You know, has Diva, Winston, all in most people's hero pools nowadays. So,
and you can even work with like an Ana Brig or a Lucio Curie or a Juno Brig. Yeah. Like you can kind of rotate the backline to fit it.
We've been seeing that Brig as well today as well. Like we've been seeing so much. So I think it definitely makes sense that we see the Genji ban. But Tracers are not bad on this map as well. So just have to wait and see how it ends up playing out. Obviously, Hollywood going to end up being very hit scan centric. Libby has a much better map in the last than previous, but still, I think it's hard to argue he's stepping up to Conde fully.
I'm just getting some preds up for the people out there. In case people want to gamba, you know. I have to stay on top of it on a 2-minute delay, you know, so it is
it's tricky. It's tricky.
It is a little tricky.
I think I was streaming yesterday. I ended up casting my face for 2 minutes, so I forgot to change scenes. It happens.
Yes. Oh, that's as good as like me casting on mute for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it's tricky being a one-man band.
It is. It is. Hey, it's not as easy as it looks, yo.
They think we just have to talk. Arisa comp, obviously for the attackers, super annoying to shift, but they also don't have much ability to find picks, so they're going to very much focus on winning the tank trade, conversing off the back of that. Supershy kind of needs to just double tap somebody to hit a big Ana cooldown, but they are very strong at that.
Yeah, we got a bit of a sub here, right? Salmon coming in for Arshavin to pull off this Ana. Gonna get the sleep on the Booga, but Soak says, I'm the only Sandman around here.
Yeah, really awkwardly timed reload for Salmon as Red tucks in the corner. He can't swing, so Booga can swing wider and just like walks down the backline basically. It's great Ana cooldowns if Salmon hits, but there's just nobody to convert off the back of it. A really fast point A cap, but this kind of street phase, that's where the Arista is going to really struggle because it's just so awkward taking high grounds. You just end up getting crossfired and you walk up to the elevators and you only really have 2 rotations, both of which are so predictable.
So easy to read. Oh, Fudgy, thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. Well, so Booga's just going to go right up the gut. Hits Brett with the spear. You know, throw some CDs at the hazard. All the while taking an enormous amount of damage from Libby, but there's the cover. Good play from Kade and Daki, able to combine to get that kill. Libby is going to respond. 3v3 as the bullet shot finds Soaks. Soaks is low. J9 will find that pick. That was a gorgeous shot to thread that around that shield.
It really was. That's going to be most of the fight. What's Booga doing up here? What's the game plan for this Arisa? He's just climbing a rooftop. It's like Spider-Man, but he's not really chasing anything. It's no chance of him surviving. Scott, man, what are you up to? What are you cooking?
Spider horse does whatever a spider horse does.
I remember it's a Family Guy bit about something like that.
Yes, Simpsons, but yes.
Oh, same thing. Double support ults, pulse, downpour, Supershy. Probably just Nano that has the refresher and water shot Docky, fair enough.
Okay, yeah, Nano has this in play. We do have a rally up, but Soaks is just running into Cafe with that rally. Still back it up.
Still what you can stand. Booga staggered again. I think we're seeing the weakness of the Arisa. As soon as it has to do with verticality, what can you really do? You kind of just sit there and feel sorry for yourselves. It's not working out great so far. Silver lining is you've got the Nano Boost out at least, but it's still 3 plenty strong tools to use on the choke again.
I mean, you need a rotation. You need a big rotation or just an early pick. I think that's the only thing it's going to do. Although you do have great pick potential. You got 2 huge ultimates. There's the blink in from Jade. I find Soaks in that assassination mission. Oh, what a start. And Supershy all really starting to find the rhythm now. Raisu picked is a huge pick up there from Bugha. Downpour was avoided by the Fortified. Did Brett get anybody at that? Unclear whether they found anyone else. Does look like Conde had been caught in that, but Bugha's still alive and well. Managed to hunt down Salmon all the way inside the clubhouse.
Positioning.
Dude, Bugha has just got a travel pass. I don't know. He's on a world tour.
Every time I swear we go to his POV, he's just on some like tracer angle as the horse. Like, okay, man, I see what you're up to. Either way, it's going to be the first fight cracked through and an exit frag onto J9 for good measure. Raisu has to survive the Swift that would allow him to do that. You have the Kitsune Rush and the Bodo Shot both, but the Terror Surge on the corner is going to be so annoying. But he supports especially to try and walk through.
I just picture like, what was it, Mila Jovovich, you know? Multi-pass, but it's an Orisa head. Yeah, that's what Bugha's doing right now. Kitsune Rush out of its defense, but Brad's just getting like, oh, that hurt. Just stood there, just getting spun on. We do get a kill from Liberty, we do get a touch and the pulse. Bugha trying to create some space. Salmon's forced to back up a little bit. Brett has to come contest, and the C9 happens. Forced by the Terror Surge. Bugha does not hesitate to throw that one in chat. Yeah.
He's a pretty big fan of the mental warfare, is Bugha. So he's going to try and get in as much as he can. Both players actually killed each other in that fight, by the way. The Bodo Shot for Libby and just the regular right clicks, I believe, from Conde, but obviously ended up favoring 0907 a little bit more. 3 minutes on the time, like not bad for Supershy, but they'd like to whisk it down as much as possible. They've got the Nano Boost for it too.
Conde up in the air, covers the approach from Zypher. Does not land the pulse. Here comes J9, trying to find the revenge, gets it. Good move. J9 gets the 2 clipped out onto Zypher. And 0907 are hitting that retreat button.
Nothing you can do. And I will say, losing this first fight here is so annoying because it means you have to walk through these studio doors again. They're so easy to get choked out. But Libby down. Jay has to do his best to survive as well. They can probably fight again without taking a full reset, which is so nice for the attacking side.
Brett gets Nano, leaps across where Conde and Zypher were trying to pursue on this left side. Once again, we get Bugha trying to just bully Brett around. Rally in. Orbital in. Double support. Also trying to finish this off. Raisu hits Cypher. But 0907 are able to huddle up inside of that. Losing Taki, not good. The spawn advantage coming from this defense, I think is going to win this out. There's no more Juno here to sustain this attack.
I mean, you'd imagine so, right? So Bugha's going to do his best to tail and run goes down so low, the Mega Health Pack will sustain him. At the end of the day, this really extended deadlock, basically, that we've been seeing for the past, minute and a half, that's going to favor the defenders. All they need is time off the bank. Exactly.
And, spotters just come pouring in. They don't have to be nearly as clean and just maintain their hold. Consider Rush does net pick on the Bugha. And there you go. The disengage rings out once again from 0907 with a $130 left.
I mean, it's basically one attempt when you're playing a comp that is this slow, right? I mean, it takes so much time for the Orisa to find something. Conde maybe to connect a bowler shot. Raisu does play with death a little bit more than I'd like. I'd rather he just, dodge the timing of the spear entirely, but Bugha misses it, so it's A-okay. No ults, though, or big ones at least. Poor Supershy is a problem.
They spin the one they had, and they're not able to catch anything with that downpour. Here in Athena, less than 60 seconds. It takes time to get this set up, but 0907 do have 3 players positioned to push it on the left side. Now it's a race into the back line. Bugha gets purple, but is able to find Salmon. McConde pop. Oof. Brett at 1 health. Somehow living back here, but eventually Zypher will give them a quick trip back to spawn. Follows up with a kill into J9 as well. I think 0907 might have found their 3rd point. From over the top, Libby will not get it done. Raisu. Hold on this point. Raisu gets the Nanu? No way. Raisu finds Soaks already. 40 health. Pressured out. Use the iframes of the Swift Step twice, but Cypher's still going to find the kill. But it buys time for Brett to get back on this point with the Doomfist. Terror Surge to try to clean it off. Brett is down. Eventually, they get the cap with 9.5 seconds to go. God, I thought Raisu was about to just win that out.
I mean, double nano support, that's kind of overpowered. Let's be real here. Double nano combined with the new dump on your other support. I mean, both of you have effective like 500 HP. You can heal each other if possible, but both having to duck for cover made it really hard to get that, you know, mutual aid kind of going. So it ends up that it's not a huge problem to deal with. And honestly, remember, they started this with about 3 minutes on the bank, finishing with any time at all. I'd call that a pretty big success. So I think they're not too mad about this whatsoever. Came from, what's Booga saying? So Booga is currently informing me that he's just come from paddleball. He's got no warm-up. He's full of adrenaline. And that's why he's playing at the level he is.
So that's why we're seeing Booga go with his multi-pass.
Apparently, yeah.
Wait, he's just come from what?
Guys. Paddleball.
Oh, okay.
I get it so bad, man.
J9 16-4 here. We're looking at Docky 20-3. Does Docky have 20 elam? God, that brig was just nasty. Oh, wait, what even the brig? It was the Juno. Soaks has been on brig the whole time. That was a Juno with 20 elams. What the hell?
Probably just like huge rockets every fight, right?
Yeah, just good
like
torpedoes.
The Pro torpedoes. Yeah, you do like 70
betcha.
damage to everyone, and you just farm those. Kind of like Winston. Starting off with the Ana again, I think the Ana offensively is so much more annoying to deal with, because those picks become so much more important than when you're trying to guard the space. So see how things work out. See if we want to farm towards all sorts of just want to white swing with nade basically and hope somebody pulls over.
Fred already inside the cafe. Get a little to-go order, and they're right back on out. Eats a spear out of Booga and is in a really difficult spot. Salmon's able to provide some healing. Is it going to be enough to overcome? Booga thinks so and decides to throw an energy jab towards Salmon. But that is just the opportunity Brett needed to get back to this corner. Oh, but it's Conde. Woo! Conde get on top of... Yeah, must have had high ground position. Unclear where Conde was, but they find that angle. Still is traded. Ooh, a kill on the Booga. Might just open this point up here for Supershy.
I assume it probably would. J9 does die though, and with Raisu going down as well, then it's a bit of a weird timing. Booga, if he doesn't get speed ring, will be back later than most of Supershy, but Supershy still have to square up to the play, eat a lot of spam damage from the Freya, so things gonna be really awkward here. A super chaotic point, or fight on the point rather, unfolding.
Booga does get the spades. Docky went back to not only escort Booga, but Soaps as well.
Oh.
Huge purple, but Salmon still drops. But it's the trade. The auto for the Orisa. Ooh, and a beautiful violent leap denies Soaks back into that alley. Still, Brett can't find the kill. Soaks was doing a great job of kind of shield flashing that. Making the most out of it. Still, Supershy Rover as Docky throws 3 into the kill feed.
So he's got so many eliminations, apparently. Meta Blaster, good for more than a couple. Salmon goes down to a pulse from Zypher. Half the time back now going, yeah, we're coming up to some ultimate abilities, but I don't know, it feels kind of like Shades of Dorado, right, Jeff? There's so much of a great start for Supershy, and it just doesn't end up panning out.
Yeah, they end up getting no percentage on the back of that. My bread with Bounce from high ground, wants to go to the top cafe. Soaks has been the target all day long, does not make it all the way back, just gets annihilated, caught in the corner. One ult used, one fight win, another fight win, should I say, here for 0907. That one was super clean.
Yeah, orbital ray moment. We try and use the nano boost to match it, and it works very occasionally. This time, not one of them. So basically perfect fight for 0907. You get the big tool out of your opposition. Okay, as long as you don't backtrack the pulse, we're safe. We're chill. We're doing okay. You still got 4 ults on the defense. I mean, you're sitting back in your chair right now. You're reclining. Life's so good for them.
Soaks got low, a hairy moment there for the defense, but they're able to get out. J9 Managed to sneak into this hallway, kind of getting underneath this. Even a little bit of concerning rush comes out from the attacking Supershy, but Bread is looking a little bit alone here and just has to violently leap away. Zypher comes up with 2 amidst all of that. The rally from Soak's holding.
Racer could already be chased here. The wall hacks coming through from the Freya means that the chase is just so easy. Dude, that minor perk is crazy powerful. I feel like it gets slept on how OP it is, and people still talk about it half the time. But, I mean, because of that, the Kiri forced to go back to spawn to reset. You reset all of that Kitsu charge, 15 seconds left to go. You're running out of time here.
Yeah, last opportunity is going to be an ambush attempt. Does not catch Ducky in the back. Jaina wants to go get the finish. But now they're going to have to do it without Salmon once again. This Ana proving so vulnerable in this attack time and time again. What a stick! That's going to get your resources out from Raisu. J9 is able to get a pick. Supershy, oh, that would have been huge, but Soak stays alive. The OT's burning. Libby is the only one left. J9 and Bread fall. And 0907 take the series in a 3-1. That little duel in the hallway. Raisu taking on Soaks. They 1 health apiece, and Soaks wins it out. I think if Raisu wins that duel, there's a chance for Supershy to extend this map.
Yeah. I mean, the series just felt super close at times, but it just felt like Supershy were like incapable of clutching. Every single fight that came down to like 50-50 odds, it feels like 0907 would just win. You know, be that because of cooling, be that because of, you know, individual mechanics. That's how the cookie ended up crumbling. And a lovely win now for 0907, who were able to stop their losing streak.
Yeah, they put 3 in a row here. 3 wins in a row after starting off 0-4. So that moves them to 4-4 on the season with the TA dropout. So they get that automatic win. So 0907 do move up to 500 with this win. I mean, like right at the halfway mark too. I believe that was their 8th. That was their 8th match. So they crossed over. There's 15 matches total. So that crosses over the halfway mark there for 0907.
Yeah. I ain't got much more. I gotta go soon anyway. So thanks so much for having me on, man.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for joining. Yes, always a pleasure to have you. I hope you have a good work day and have a very fun and safe trip to Jamaica, man. Take lots of pictures and all that. I can't wait to see you.
Will do. Adios.
See ya. There you go. Big shout out Spec for joining us here today. How awesome was that? Always good to get Spec on here. I mean, it's our second time in recent memory, and I want to do it more.